What is up, everybody? We are back for another episode of Palm City Chucks NFL edition, talking about what happened in week one. Football is back,
Oh
baby.
yeah.
We had the first week of NFL football. And after we recap, we're continuing our picks with week two. What do we think's going to happen there? But before we get there, let's talk about what happened in week one. The Thursday night game. I'll let you take the reins here, buddy.
Oh
Eagles
boy.
Cowboys, 24
S-
20.
Spitgate. Let's talk about it. Let's unpack. So yeah, GameStop. I'm sure everyone knows it. If you're listening to this podcast, you know what happened. But I'll go story mode anyway. Game starts. We kick off. Before the defense takes the field, we have an injury to Van Sumeren, special teamer slash fullback. It's a knee injury. It's taking a minute. And Cowboys huddle's going on, and Eagles defensive huddle's going on. And Jalen Carter decides to go over, talk some shit to the Cowboys. Fine, fair play. NFC East rivalry, all that. That's fine. Dak Prescott talks some shit back, and they end up getting in a spitting match. And initially we see it, it looks like there was just shit talking happening. Jalen Carter walks right over to Dak Prescott and spits on this man. One of the most disrespectful things you can do outside of sports and life and anything that is a fighting act. You do not do that unless you want your ass pummeled. And Jalen Carter decides to start off the season by doing this and immediately gets thrown from the game. Jalen Carter being our best defender, arguably our most important player on the team, period, a team that is stacked with talent, our arguably best player is taken out of the game. And mind you, this is with the Parsons trade, Cowboys losing that. Eagles fans feeling pretty good. We got a nice edge there. They didn't really address Parsons being gone. I mean, other than the trade, just getting Clark at D tackle, it was like, okay, this is going to help a lot. And what do? We even the playing field by getting rid of our Parsons. And I shouldn't say we, it was all on him, and he decided to spit on Prescott. But as the story developed, you come to find out Prescott spat in his direction on the floor. And apparently Carter thought that meant I should retaliate by walking 6 inches away from this man and spitting directly on him. What a freaking idiot. Yeah, it's embarrassing. I hate it. It is known league wide Jalen Carter is a hothead. Teams are going to outsmart you and try and do shit like this to make you make a mistake. And honestly, a wonderful job by Prescott, perfectly executed. Um, it really was. I hate that he did it. I think it's kind of scummy, but whatever, man. You do what you can to win in this league, and I think that was really just heads up, smart move. Get our hothead in trouble before he can even get involved. And yeah, the whole thing's just mind blowing. You're a defensive tackle who is good all around, but really known for pass rushing, and you're beefing with the quarterback. Perhaps an appropriate response is sacking his ass, not spitting on him. But news has since broke. That game is all Carter will miss. He will be back for week two. But yeah, certainly impacted the Eagles in this game. I mean, you know as well as I do, D-line in general, what that can do for the rest of your defense. Secondary has to cover the guys less. Linebackers don't get O-linemen coming up to their level and blocking them. It's crucial. So that loss really, really hurt this team. But in the end, the Eagles do come out on top 24-20. The offenses on both sides of the ball started off on fire in this one. It was score after score after score after score. Then we had a little lightning. We had a delay, and that kind of really jacked things up for both offenses. It was really tough to get it going. But yeah, Eagles end up coming out on top. It was really dicey in the end. We had CeeDee Lamb drop numerous passes,
Yeah,
and
I was
Lamb
it's
being one of the best.
exactly
Yeah, being one of the best
exactly what I was going
receivers
to
in the
say.
league. It was scary, man. I mean, he comes down with even one of those. This could have been a different outcome. Like I said, going into it, felt like a trap game. I knew it was going to be close. I knew it was going to get dicey. And yeah, did not predict the Carter shit, though. Holy moly. But
No,
yeah, Eagles end up coming out on top, so I am happy with that. There were good things. I mean, the offense went 3 for 3 to start the game in touchdowns. That's what you want to see. They did fail to get AJ Brown involved offensively. I wonder what kind of problems that's going to lead to. I think more than likely they just make it up to him next week and try and get him involved so he doesn't cause any drama or anything that way. But yeah, in the end, the Eagles won, so that's all that matters. But sloppy play too. So many penalties on this Eagles team. Things you can't do if you want to win and go where this Eagles team can go. So certainly lots of areas to improve, but that's to be expected, especially when you don't play in the preseason.
yeah, I did not expect the Jalen Carter spitting stuff. I saw that.
Wasn't on the
I will
bingo
say
card.
the first thing I did was text you. I remember that. It was the very first thing I thought to do when I saw he was getting
Oh,
ejected.
I'm sure
Yeah,
it was.
yeah. And then I'll actually agree. Dak definitely instigated that. What he did
Oh
was
yeah.
acceptable, in my opinion. It was acceptable. He
Oh
definitely
yeah.
stared him down. But he did spit into
Yeah.
the ground. Jalen
Yeah.
Carter just walking up to Dak and spitting right on him,
Yeah.
hawking a loogie too. It was no like
Oh
small
yeah. That
spit.
was
That thing
thick.
was,
It
yeah.
was thick. He
That
scraped the
was,
tongue in order to launch that spit for sure. But yeah, I'm not gonna be one of those Eagles fans. I'm sure they're out there where they're
yeah.
like, Dak did it first and all this. And no, Dak was smart. He was calculated.
I
What he
I
did
actually
is not a penalty. It is not an act of disrespect. And what Jalen Carter did is both of those things.
I
So yeah.
I think Dak's reaction, both on the field and his press conference after, just how calm he was, I really think he did try to make that happen, though, because
100%.
he
Yeah.
seemed to expect
And
it,
teams,
honestly.
this is
Yeah,
nothing new. Everyone knows Jalen Carter's a hothead and he's going to do some dumb shit. I don't know why. It's an area he certainly needs to work on because he's needed on the field. And I just hope this really hits home with him. Like you listen to Sirianni's press conference too. It's like he knows we needed him on that defense. We needed him in this game and he wasn't there. Like imagine being Jalen Carter and hearing your head coach say that. Like that certainly makes me want to do better. I hope it does in Carter's case as well. And yeah, I mean, not to mention
what
Carter is
reason do you have to believe it will, though?
no,
Honestly,
yeah,
yeah,
honestly, it,
yeah.
it's fair point. I mean, the main thing, and this is actually what I was just getting to, is I think Carter is very much an ego guy. That's part of why he does things like this. Like you're gonna act like I'm a bitch, I ain't no bitch, and do some wild shit. But I think Carter cares a lot about his legacy in the NFL. This hurts all pro chances. This hurts Pro Bowl chances. This hurts all of that. You missed a game where you could be producing stats. And just in general, this makes you appear unlikable. And I mean, at the end of the day, some of this is certainly a popularity contest. It's not all about your numbers alone. So I think that part of it may really encourage improvement on that side of the brain more than anything. He doesn't need to improve on the football field. He just needs to use his freaking brain. But yeah, it's very frustrating. All I can hope for is this shit stops because teams are not going to stop doing this. We see it all the time. They're going to do late shoves after the whistle. They're going to do a little annoying shit to him, trying to make him blow up. And he's gotta get a longer fuse. He really does.
Yeah, he definitely does. I mean, he's had that problem since college. That's why he fell to you in the draft when you did end up picking him in the first place.
Right.
Were these problems? But I also want to emphasize I totally agree with your point. If CD remembered how to catch the ball like CD Lamb can catch the ball,
Yeah.
there might have been a very very different outcome here. But
Yeah.
ultimately the Eagles win. Then one other thing you said I thought was kind of surprising. I just want you to maybe expand on a little bit was. The Cowboys lost Micah Parsons, actual Micah Parsons. They said losing Jalen Carter, you lost your Micah Parsons. You see them on an equal playing field?
Pretty much, yeah. Definitely. It's different positions. So that already muddies the waters. Like
Yeah.
I personally not to segue away from your question, but like the top 100 in the NFL, I hate that shit. Like comparing a freaking quarterback to a left tackle and that left tackle to a safety, and like it doesn't work that way. But importance to their team, 100%, they are equal in my opinion. Um, yeah, without a doubt. And yeah, honestly, I think it would be tough to argue different. He's
Yeah.
crucial to the Eagles defense. He really is. I mean, he takes up two blockers every play, still affects the game with his pass rush more than his run defense, but that certainly as well. He makes Jordan Davis way better. He made Milton Williams get a freaking bag. Milton Williams, good player in his own right, but he's not getting paid that if he wasn't working next to Carter. There's no way. And then, like I said as well, helps Bond, helps Dean when Dean was in, like helps the secondary. It's really a position that is so undervalued in the NFL, period. And I think Carter is top two at the position without a doubt. So yeah, I would say he's equally as important to the Eagles as Parsons was to the
Hmm.
Cowboys.
I guess I can buy the importance to the team argument. Sheer talent levels, I don't think I'm quite there. I agree though. Jalen Carter's really, really good at football. He's
Yeah,
very,
he's
very
a
good at
stud.
football. I just put Mike on a different level. I think in terms of talent, but I could buy your importance to the team argument. I won't
Yeah,
fight you on that.
it's
Yeah,
yeah, and I'm not going to fight you on the talent
yeah,
because, like I
yeah.
said, it's different positions. They're asked to do different things. It gets very tough to argue either way.
Yeah. It is murky.
So yeah,
Yeah,
it is for sure.
yeah. All right. So we both got that right. Both did go with the Eagles. So I'll take that because I didn't have a good picking week. Honestly, we'll talk about that a little bit later. But my worst performance ever in any single week happened this week, picking winners. That's really awesome. But moving on to the Friday game, we had Friday football in week one here. Chiefs
Yeah,
Chargers, one that we both got wrong. Picked the Chiefs. Very pissed I got this one wrong. It was one where I had the Chargers circled and then I scribbled it out and went with the Chiefs. So that
yeah,
hurt.
it
Those
sucks.
always really hurt. But first half, Chiefs looked horrible. They looked completely washed. You start off the game with Travis Kelce trucking Xavier Worthy. They're already out Raji Rice for the suspension.
Mhm.
And then Travis Kelce trucks Xavier Worthy, dislocates his shoulder. He's gone for the rest of the game. I'm actually curious what happened there. I've been trying to figure out who ran the wrong route. My
Yeah,
thoughts, Travis Kelce. I honestly don't know with how tenured Travis Kelce is on that team and the rapport that he has with Mahomes. If Travis Kelce ever has a route to run, or if it's more just a space to fill.
yeah,
Seriously, like a
that's
general
interesting. I could,
direction.
yeah,
Like, so I'm thinking that was actually Travis Kelce's fault. Not that it really matters either way. Both of them probably should have had enough time to avoid that in the end, and you never like
yeah,
to see that. But I think it's an interesting discussion point, and I would wager that Kelsey was probably at fault there. Unfortunately, makes up for it later with a big touchdown, but. Chiefs looked horrible in the first half. Absolutely terrible. Chargers
they
looked
did.
great all night.
They
Justin
did.
Herbert looked
He
fantastic.
did.
Oh my goodness. If they keep this up, I'm feeling great about where I predicted them to finish in the AFC
Yeah,
West and in the AFC overall. Really love how they looked here in week one. But the Chiefs certainly showed some life in the second half. Patrick Mahomes became a man possessed for a while there. I mean, some of the throws that he made were ridiculous. The one where I texted you
he's a
right after
flying
he was getting
squirrel.
sacked, falling down to the right, like just random top perfect, just absolutely absurd. He
Yeah,
does some amazing things. Um, he also ran the ball quite a bit, so that was interesting.
he
About
did.
60 yards and ran for a touchdown. So
Yeah,
that's an interesting development. But
yeah,
I think the
yeah.
Chiefs, once they get Worthy and Rice back, I'm curious to see what they look like. I don't know that they're completely done yet. If they can continue what they did in the second half, and the main takeaway there for me was the Chargers were what I expected. They were excellent. Quentin Johnston, 2 touchdowns. My goodness, that guy learned how to catch a ball. It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, they looked great, and just Keenan Allen too getting back into this offense, it was right where he left off. I mean, the chemistry there with Herbert was phenomenal. But yeah, to your point, I mean, the Chargers just as a whole looked great. I think your take is excellent based off week one. They certainly look like the best team in the West and one of the better teams in the AFC as a whole. Um, and yeah, to your point about Mahomes running around and stuff too, Herbert was as well. I mean, Herbert being healthy for once, I almost forgot he did this because he did in his younger years. He was running around, and yeah, he doesn't have the ankle anymore. He doesn't have the back and all the other things that have bothered him in seasons
I
past.
mean, he iced
And
the game with the
yeah,
run.
he did, and there was a one called back on an offensive hold that was like a freaking 25-yard run. It was stupid. It was far as shit. But yeah, he's very mobile, and yeah, he played a clean, good game. Definitely nice to see, especially after how ugly their playoff game was last year and how poorly he took care of the ball. Um, but yeah, the Chiefs, you said it, horrible first half, kind of started getting it going in the second half. But yeah, I mean, losing Worthy for really we don't know how long to this point, and then not having Rice for a few more weeks as well. Chiefs can certainly dig a hole here. I feel pretty good about having them finishing third in the West. Um, but yeah, I agree. Once they get those guys back, you certainly can't rule this team out. And if they get in the playoffs, anything can happen. I mean, it's Mahomes, it's Andy Reid. Watch out.
Okay, so I'm gonna jump around. You said feeling good about them finishing third in the West. So based on what you saw in week one, who the Raiders or the Broncos, who's finishing ahead of them?
After week one, I mean,
I mean, you
honestly,
said you felt really good about it, so you've got to have some kind of thought there.
yeah, I was just referencing my preseason prediction
Yeah, no,
of
I know.
having the Broncos and Chargers ahead. But
Okay.
yeah, off of week one, I mean, the Raiders looked phenomenal, which we'll get to that game. They looked really solid. And yeah, I would argue all three teams probably looked better than the Chiefs. And if a team didn't, it's probably the Broncos. Because Bo
Mhm,
Nix did not look very good at all. Um, but yeah, it's just one week. But yeah, as a whole, I feel decent about the Chiefs kind of
mhm.
turning towards downfall. But as I said, if they make playoffs, you better watch out.
Yeah, it was more so not questioning you having the Chiefs in third. It was more so which AFC West team did you watch that you
The
believed
Raiders
in?
looked, yeah,
Besides,
the Raiders,
I didn't. I thought they looked okay. Okay.
they look good.
Uh,
The Broncos, not so much. Nick's worried me, but we'll get to those games.
we
Uh,
will. We will. Bucks Falcons up next. We'll go there. NFC South matchup.
okay.
Baker Mayfield didn't throw for a ton of yards in this game, but he did throw for quite a few touchdowns. I think the main storyline here is Emeka Egbuka scoring two in his first game, including the game winner,
Yeah.
which I've had some discussions with some folks around here. And here's the deal. That's a great first game from Egbuka. Give him that. I don't see him being a superstar wide receiver for his career. I really see him as more of a possession guy, and those are valuable. The Keenan Allens of the
Oh
world
yeah.
are super valuable.
Yeah, the
Um,
Godwins, a guy
yeah,
on his
exactly,
team. Yeah, like that's fine.
exactly. I just so great first game. I'm curious to see how he looks. I really don't think this is Ohio State like bias coming out here. I mean, his entire career at Ohio State, even stayed like an extra year, he played wide receiver two behind all the other guys that were there, Marv and then, Jeremiah Smith. Even last year, he was behind him. So I really see him as more of a second fiddle long term.
Yeah.
But he did
Yeah, and
have a
there's
great
nothing
game one
wrong with
here.
that.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. But I've been getting a lot of arguments that are like, oh, Mecca Ibuka's the fucking shit, dude. He's going to
Oh,
be
yeah.
so
That's
good. I'm like,
just
I don't know about
yeah,
that. Yeah.
recency bias, whatever you wanna call it. I
Right.
mean, he had a great game, great start to his season. I did, however, before, the season started, when we were talking about rookies, I did have him as my second favorite receiver behind, Tet McMillan, but,
Yeah.
coming into the draft, and I did have Burden too kinda in that conversation. I might have had Burden ahead of him too, but that's certainly bias. We got dynasty bias there, and the Bears have him. But Yeah. Ibuka's definitely solid. Is he,
Good
yeah,
receiver.
number
Yeah.
one star receiver? Yeah, I don't know about that. But yeah, certainly a great showing in week one. And did you see at all what Mike Evans was saying about that game-winning play?
Yes, that Ibuka called his shot there. I
Yeah,
did see that.
pretty
Yes.
cool. He's like, I
That
wish we
is
were
pretty
mic'd
cool.
up. Ibuka was like, I want to post here. I want to post. Like, basically called the play as a rookie in that moment. That's pretty awesome. I think that almost speaks more to how great he can be than the play itself is just the confidence. You love to see that. But
Uh,
yeah, a wild finish and a game we had different as well. But yeah, this matchup going back to even last year, the Falcons Bucks, man, those are some fun ass games every time.
and Young Wei Koo, come on, he didn't throw enough zins in before he went out to kick that field goal. That's my conclusion.
He was
Come on.
lacking Zin.
Yeah, you had to see that video of him at training camp where the guy holds out the Zin can and he's just like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
lower the peak real quick. Yeah. Or maybe it's upper
Throw it
decky. I
in.
can't remember which one he pulled out. Probably upper decky,
Yeah.
but yeah, man is high on the Zins. Know that.
That's
But yeah, I mean,
funny.
the Falcons definitely got to figure out the running game because neither Bijan or Tyler Edgeyear got really anything going on the ground. Bijan did contribute about 100 receiving yards, though, which
Yeah.
was a lot. Yeah, I mean, Bijan had an overall great game, and the Falcons certainly looked pretty decent. They could have won this game. No, they really could have. So I think that there's a lot of positives to take for them as
Yeah,
well.
definitely. My main reasoning for going Bucks here was maybe we see a little bit of rookie Penix still, but I don't think that was the case. I think he did a lot of growing. And granted, he looked good in moments last year as well, especially late in games. And yeah, he did that again. I think he's going to be a solid pro. I know a lot of people aren't convinced, and I'm really not sure why. I thought he was phenomenal with Washington in college, and yeah, last year based off what we saw, and so far this year he looks legit.
I will say I'm not. I think it'll be good, not great. I'm not super convinced myself. I am
Yeah.
one of those people in
Solid pro.
camp. Yeah,
Solid pro. No,
solid
there's
enough.
camps that are like anti Penix, and I don't understand it. I don't think you're quite there. You're talking he's a 16th best guy in the league. I'm fine with that. I think that's
Fair enough.
about right. But yeah, I just there's so much hate against him. I don't get it. But yeah, I think the Falcons definitely in a good spot, and will certainly get some dubs in the win column as the season goes on.
I agree. I agree. Especially with the schedule they have, which we've harped on a lot. They've got
Yes,
some
we have.
very favorable games. But let's move on to Bengals Browns. Bengals end up pulling this one out 17-16.
Wow.
Probably got a little bit lucky too, to be honest. I mean,
Definitely. They
the Browns
cannot win a week
receivers
one game.
screwed over Joe Falcon so hard with those two
Yeah.
interceptions. Tillman and Judy, the top two guys as well, one each, in and out of the hands and into the arms of the Bengals. Felt
Yeah.
so bad for Joe because he looked really damn good,
We
honestly.
did. And
But
miss field goals. Like, what are we
yes,
doing?
yeah, and the extra point, missed extra point, and the missed field goal, just
Yeah.
unacceptable, man. So, how's that Bengal juice tasting after watching that performance?
Dude, this is honestly nothing new though. They can't play week one. They just can't do it. I don't get it. They're just so bad early on. But yeah, it is a little sour. I thought it was sweet. It was tasted sweet for a few weeks there. It's getting a little sour. But yeah, they end up winning. A win is a win is a win. But yeah, it should not have been. The Browns, for numerous reasons we just went over, should have had this game. And yeah, Bengals managed to get it. So I guess I'll still drink it. I don't want it to go bad, but it's getting sour.
I mean, yeah, drink it while it's there, my guy, because at some point it's going to disappear into the abyss. Let's go to the Dolphins Colts, and I will be the first to admit I got this wrong. You got this wrong, and oh my goodness, I couldn't believe just how bad the Dolphins were. They were terrible.
This game
Tua
pissed me
was
off so
awful,
much, dude.
and Daniel
Because
Jones was so good.
we were both all over this shit. The Dolphins crumble. We've been saying it for weeks and weeks and weeks. And It already happened. We thought maybe Tua's healthy. It's week one. Colts have a lot of problems. It's Danny Dimes. Like, is it really that scary? It was, because Danny Dimes had a perfect game. They scored on every single possession.
He was so good. So good. I mean, the Giants
Yeah.
are just the hellhole
And
for.
we discussed that too. It's the Giants thing. I mean, and I think we both agreed. I know I certainly said I think Danny Dimes is going to be better than he was as a Giant. But yeah, I didn't think this. I mean,
I also,
I didn't know he was freaking Tom Brady. Like, what?
again, he looked,
Crazy.
I mean, he really looked excellent. I mean, Michael Pittman, number one target for him still. Tyler Warren, geez,
Yeah,
the Colts
great
are
first
already
game.
cashing in on the Bears' mistake,
Yeah.
which was a mistake, by the way. Just gonna reiterate that. I
You
can't
don't
believe
gotta
it.
tell me. I
I
know.
know, but Tyler Warren got like, I think it was 8 or 9 targets in his first game there, and he did really, really well with his opportunities, converting a lot of them.
He did.
They looked like a great unit on both sides of the ball. Danny
They
Dimes,
really did.
easily the best game I've ever seen him play. Ever.
Yeah,
Ever. It was
without a
amazing.
doubt.
And Tua, to hop back to the Dolphins, I said this a little bit ago, but man, Tua was terrible. Could not hold
He
on to the
was really
ball.
bad.
Interceptions, turnovers. Tyreek Hill was getting upset. Nobody was getting involved. It was just an absolutely terrible performance out of the Dolphins.
Yeah. Like I said, it makes me sick, honestly. We were just so all over this shit, and then we still freaking picked it wrong, and now it already happened. The Dolphins crumble. It's official. I honestly don't see them recovering from this. Like, they'll probably win a few games, but I I couldn't tell you who they're gonna beat, honestly, at this point.
Yeah, I think Mike McDaniel could be looking for a different job come next year, to be honest. Because
Yeah.
like I told you,
If
I think
not
we talked about
sooner.
this in the coaching episode a little bit over the summer, but I lost a lot of respect for him after he lost Tua last year, just with how bad they were. You're supposed to have
Yeah.
some kind of secondary game plan, and there certainly wasn't one. Even
Yeah.
with the primary guys here, he got fucked
Yeah, I was gonna
up by
say,
the
there's
Colts.
not even a
Yeah,
primary game plan
yeah,
this year.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, Dolphins look terrible and they lose. One that we both got wrong. Moving on to another game we were both incorrect in. Raiders traveling to New England taking on the Patriots. They end up winning 2013. Decent first game for the Raiders. I don't think I was quite as impressed as you were based on our conversation earlier. I
Yeah.
thought they were good,
I mean, I
not
had
great.
Pats, dude, and I feel like they won this
Yeah.
handily. Like, they won this game in and out, and that is really what surprised me the most, like, just how clear it was. And yes, this was a one possession game, but it really didn't feel that way. Like, it felt like it was totally in control the whole time. And yeah, they looked really good. Gino looked really good. He did a great job of spreading the ball. A game in which Jonty didn't really get to make his impact, and their offense still did pretty good. And I was also impressed with their defense, only allowing 13 points to the Pats.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Brock Bowers, beast. Hopefully
He's
his
awesome.
knee injury
He
does
should
not
be
linger.
okay.
Yeah, so I
Yeah,
think that's the big
according to
thing.
him, he's okay. So
Yeah,
take that with a grain of salt. Some of these guys are wild and should be hockey players. But yeah, I'd say that's a good sign that he's saying he's okay. But yeah, I thought they looked good. It wasn't what I expected. I mean, we just said it. I thought Pats did not win. But yeah, I was impressed, and yeah, this Bengal juice is getting sour. Let's maybe switch to some Raider juice.
you already tried that, my guy. That
I
soured
did.
on you pretty quick.
That
Anyways, let's
soured
move to the
real
next game.
fast.
Cards going to New Orleans taking on the Saints. They end up winning 2013, but really, this was just alarm bells for the Cardinals for me. Like a
Yes,
game
me
that was
too.
so close. They did not look great at all. Started off okay, but to only beat this Saints team by 7 is terrible. I mean, because they didn't even do anything. I mean, Alvin Kamara only ran for 11 for 45, got a little bit involved in the pass game. Not a ton, really.
Oh,
Spencer
he had two
Rattler had to
catches.
throw the ball 46 times. Um, Not great. None of the backup backs did a ton either. Like less
Yeah.
than 100 rushing yards, I think, as a team. The Cardinals just looked disjointed. I really thought this was going to be a handily win, and it was not. It came down to the wire. I think my biggest takeaway, which is more of a fantasy takeaway, is that it finally seems that James Conner is going to split work at running back for the Cardinals, and more of a 1A, 1B with Trey Benson in his second year.
Yes. Which, not to toot my own horn, I was all over that shit.
I
Got Benson just waiting for the right moment. Um,
I also have Benson. I traded a
nice.
guy to pick up Benson this year in my other
Nice.
dynasty league. We don't share. So same here.
Very nice.
Big Benson
Um,
guy.
yeah, it's a good move. But yeah, perfectly said. This game says way more about the Cardinals for me. I think we know what the Saints are. We know what the Saints are trying to do, and the Cardinals almost didn't let them do it, and that is lose. They want to lose games, and the Cardinals almost didn't take the free victory. But yeah, you're right. Alarm bells for sure. A team I was definitely kind of hot on. I thought they were gonna be about what they were last year and even a little better. I thought they were on the up and up, and now I'm reconsidering everything because this is not a game that they should have only won by 7. You said it. The Saints didn't even do anything spectacular. Like, I don't know how it was a 7-point game. But yeah, the Cardinals got a long way to go.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about having them finishing last in the division after week 1 here. That's how
Yeah.
they look all year. They will lose to the other NFC West teams every game. Anyways, another game where we picked differently coming up here. Steelers, Jets, you siding with the Steelers, myself with the Jets. You ended up correct in this one, but one that was down
It's
to
a
the
great
wire
game.
again, and it was the opposite kind of game from what I expected. I expected a low
Yeah.
scoring, very defensive game from two typically good defensive units, and I'll tell you what, the quarterbacks ripped up their previous franchise, both of them. Justin Fields
Yeah.
played excellent. Aaron Rodgers played excellent. I didn't know that he had that in the tank anymore. He certainly did. They both played super, super well. Steelers end up pulling it out with the Wizard of Boz hitting a very long range field goal to pull ahead, and they never looked back after that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a great game. You said it. Fields looked really good. Brees Hall, what Fields just being in that backfield with the run threat ability, what he could do for Hall was great. I think Hall is going to look a lot like he did in his top year, which I think we're going back to his rookie year. Um, but yeah, both offenses looked really good. And yeah, I was a little surprised. Teams that are typically very good defensively, but yeah, it was a shootout. It was a lot of fun. Definitely one of my favorite games for the week. And yeah, always feels a little better when you get it right.
Yeah, before we move on from that, we talked about the Steelers running back situation a couple episodes ago, and I thought
I
this was
think
the
you were
most
right.
shocking. It was the most shocking thing. I don't even think I was right. I actually think I also was wrong. Kenneth
Yeah, you were
Gainwell
just less wrong.
had the majority of the carries, and then Jalen Warren. I mean, Kenneth Gainwell basically took all the carries at the beginning of the game, and then it kind of shifted to Jalen Warren started to take all the carries. It wasn't even really a shift in, shift out situation. It was Kenneth Gainwell, and then it was Jalen Warren. But Caleb Johnson did did not exist on that team that
No,
on
you
this
did
past
not.
Sunday. So for right now, I'm feeling good about saying Jalen Warren would get more touches than Caleb Johnson, but I am not loving. I'm not. You might have a different feeling, him being a former Eagle, but I am not huge on Kenneth Gainwell. I think he's okay, but I
No,
don't
yeah,
think that he's anything special or the potential to be anything special either.
yeah.
I
No, I'm
really
not.
just didn't understand the thinking there, but it's also hard to question a guy like Mike Tomlin. So,
Yeah, that is true. But yeah, I'm not going to argue much with you there. I think Gainwell's a very solid player, a good change of space, an excellent special teamer. Um, and that he was for the Steelers as well. I saw him flying around on special teams. If he's your lead back, he's not on special teams. So I don't know what they're figuring out here. Maybe Johnson has some kind of lingering injury we're not sure of, but I certainly don't understand why Warren didn't get all the touches if Johnson is struggling, and then you just use Gainwell as a change of pace. But yeah, that was puzzling to me as well. But yeah, Gainwell's solid runner, but yeah, definitely not your workhorse. I would say.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Let's move on to the other NFC East matchup for the week. The Giants traveling to Washington, taking on the Commanders. Deebo Samuel looked quite comfortable in a Commanders jersey. He looked a little bit like him old self. He had a really excellent game. And
He did.
Russell Wilson continues to disappoint. He
This
was
game
terrible.
sucked, dude. And
It
it's
was
literally
awful.
Russ's fault. It's all
Yeah.
Russ's fault. He looked unplayable. Like, you don't want to play Dart, fine. Give us
Give
what
me
we want.
Jameis. Yeah, give
Put
me
Winston in.
Jameis.
Like,
I honestly, if they
how do
signing
you
both those
roll
guys,
Russ out after that game? Like, how? How does he start week 2? If Dable wants to keep a job in the NFL, how do you put Russ out there week 2? It's literally that bad. Like, I don't think I'm overreacting at all. That was
he was
horrible.
terrible.
The pocket presence was atrocious. The man was taking sack after sack when he didn't have to, and just had no clear direction in what he wanted to do at all. He was a lost puppy back there, and it ruined the game. Like, it literally did.
It
This
was
game
awful.
was not enjoyable at all. And like you said, yes, Debo looked pretty good. Commander's offense was okay. But yeah, the Giants literally playing Russ destroyed this game for me.
If the Giants can figure out something on offense, the fact with how bad their offense was, the defense, which I was very impressed by,
Yeah,
uh, if the offense can figure out something, they could win a couple games. They're not going to be
they
an
could.
overall force, but they
Yeah,
gotta switch out. Russ cannot play quarterback for them anymore. We learned that in 1 week. And
yeah,
you said like if they don't want to play Dart, I don't want them to play Dart either. We have said it many a times. Sitting on the
yeah.
bench is good for rookie quarterbacks, and you don't go out and sign Russ and Jameis to not play them in my opinion. Or like I don't
Yeah.
think they agree to come there as a
Only,
third stringer. I don't think either of
yeah,
them do.
that's
So
true. The
give
only
us
thing
what we
that
want,
scares
as you
me,
said. Let us
yeah,
see Jameis play football.
yes. Yeah, it's definitely what we all want. But yeah, the only thing that scares me is on the depth chart, Dart is too. But yeah, that we've seen it before where that is the case and then they get jumped. And I'm hoping that's what happens here because yes, rest your rookies. Don't let him get killed. It's not a situation where you want to throw him in right away at all. I think it would be a very poor decision. And I mean, you could set up a guy for a Daniel Jones type career doing that. Like, let the guy rest, let him learn. And yeah, let's get Winston in there because Russ was terrible. And I think we may get what we want because if that man wants a job in the NFL as a head coach, he better freaking do it because Giant fans are not going to stand for that shit.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, Daboll's gone. I think he's gone
He probably
after
is
this year,
regardless, but if he wants
unless
to
they have
make
a
it through
miracle
the
run and get to the
season,
playoffs. Yeah, unless they get to the
yeah.
playoffs, he's done.
Um,
I think.
Yeah. But before we move on, I did want to shout out your Penn State boy. Carter looked excellent. We knew this D line was going to be a problem, as in really good. And yeah, it was. Holding the Commanders at 21. Daniels, a very mobile quarterback. Still, Carter got his hands on him numerous times. And yeah, it was very good game for him. Another rookie with a very solid week 1 performance.
Yeah. So now let's move on to the one game of the week that we picked differently that I got correct. The Panthers Jags. You sided with the
Uh,
Panthers, myself with the Jags, and main takeaway here, two main takeaways for me. One, Travis Etienne might be back. He had an excellent game one here against the Panthers. And two, the Panthers regressed to what they were at the beginning of last year. I also was a little bit scared of my own Jags pick, to be honest. If they
mhm.
continued how they looked at the end of last year coming into this year, Bryce Young looked horrible, though. He looked like beginning of last year, Bryce. It was a terrible, 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 terrible performance from that offense, from basically everyone except for Chuba. That was the one bright spot.
Yeah, it was a terrible game. I believe you said last week your brain was telling you Panthers, your gut was telling you Jags. That's why you trust your gut, kids, right here. But yeah, to your point, was a terrible game for the Panthers. Very sloppy, a lot of penalties and turnovers from Bryce Young in moments where you can't have it. The game could have been a lot closer than it was had he played clean football in those moments. That being said, it ended up being 26-10, and it was actually worse than that. So it was like a full 180 flip of what it should have been. The Jags had complete control the whole game, with the Panthers playing so poorly. And yes, I agree. ETN has secured the job. They even traded Bigsby to the Eagles this week, which they do have two rookie running backs behind ETN, ready to get some work in. But yeah, I think it's certainly his job to lose. He did look really good. Um, Jags offense was frustrating though, and I do have dynasty reasons for these feelings. But yeah, it looked like they were really trying to force Hunter the ball.
Oh,
They were struggling to get Thomas the ball. Brian Thomas Jr. is a phenomenal receiver. You got to get him involved. I mean, hell, Mac Jones was feeding this guy constantly, and Trevor Lawrence, a top pick in the draft,
I
and top talent, it can't fricking do it. And
brother,
it's starting to
I do
drive me
not
nuts.
think you are exaggerating or coming in from a fantasy angle. I had a couple boys over. We were watching Red Zone in my living room, and I was like, I was watching the game, and I was like, they are trying to prove their point right that Travis should be playing as a wide receiver. You and I
Yeah,
both have said here many times on the podcast, he is not an NFL wide receiver. He's not. Simply put, he is not. He could probably be a good NFL corner, and that's it. He is not an NFL level wide receiver. I mean, you could see it because all they tried to do was force him on like the screens. Bro, those are balls that Brian Thomas Jr. should be getting. If you're going to set up a wide receiver
yes.
screen, it's not to Travis Hunter, bro. You are doing that to try to prove a point and say, like, oh,
Yes.
we were right. We were right. No, you weren't.
Yeah,
Except that you saw it in preseason. I don't get me wrong. There's only so much about like videos from, training camp and, preseason work. But running a route, that doesn't change in game training camp your potential and how well you can run a route. We all
yeah,
saw how terrible Travis Hunter
yeah,
was at running a clean,
and
quick route.
right,
And to me, it came out in that game. The only time he was able to create separation was on a quick screen or a very quick slant in where he got
slant, yeah.
5 yards. Like,
Yes, I was just
so
gonna say,
unimpressed.
until I see a play down the field, I am not going to accept that he is a good starting wide receiver in the NFL. I think it's fine that they're trying to play him. They put a lot of capital into him. That's fine. I understand he needs to be in the lineup, but you're not going to sway me into thinking it was a good pick or that he's a good receiver until I see some plays down the field. And stop affecting my boy's play because Brian Thomas Jr. needs to be getting the rock. He is a stud. And yeah, if you want to win, which should be the ultimate goal, not just proving that you made the correct draft picks, that's get your best players the ball. And I think they're doing it with ETN, should be the lead back. And it's time to do it to their number one receiver, Brian Thomas Jr.
I agree. I totally agree. And I just you're not coming at a fantasy angle only from that. I have no stake in Brian Thomas Jr. in any of my leagues, and I felt
Yeah,
the same. I was like, they are just trying to force this man the ball. It makes
they
no
were.
sense. No
Little
sense.
screens, little quick slants where the defense is literally sagged off because it's fucking 3rd and 10 or what. Like, it's like, what are
Yeah.
we doing?
Yeah.
Stop it.
All right, let's move on to Cam Ward's debut. Titans taking on the Broncos. Broncos win this one 2012. I was not impressed by quarterback play of either of these guys in their week one matchup. Cam Ward a little more understandable, being it is his first official NFL game, but Bo Nix did not look great at all. Cortland Sutton, great catch. That was a good drive to end the first half and give them the touchdown. So a couple bright moments for the Broncos, and I think they'll get a little bit better than what we saw this week. But the running back situation here also interesting. This one, I guess I was wrong in this one, but I think you also you might have agreed with me on this one. But J.K. Dobbins was definitely the lead back. R.J.
Yeah,
Harvey only had, I think he had sub 10 touches overall,
yeah,
which was a little bit surprising. But they both played well with their touches. I mean, R.J. Harvey had the 50-yard run, which led to J.K. Dobbins' 19-yard touchdown run. So both were productive with their touches. I expected at worst a pretty even split, but that definitely wasn't the case. J.K. Dobbins was very clear.
yeah.
Running back
This
one.
this was definitely another one where I was wrong. I thought this was going to be Harvey's job. Um, but I don't mind that it's not. Dobbins really phenomenal year last year with the Chargers, and given his injury history, how he's been able to bounce back and be productive. in such a tough position in the NFL. I like that he's the starter, but yeah, I certainly was incorrect here. But again, this is week one weirdness. It's certainly not a Caleb Johnson situation in Pittsburgh where he didn't see the field. So yeah, I mean, it's probably likely going to be Harvey's job. It's just a matter of time. But yeah, I think we'll slowly see that creep into a 50-50 split for probably most of the year, and then come playoff time we might see it lean a little more towards Harvey. But yeah, certainly happy for Dobbins. I definitely appreciate and respect him as a player. But yeah, to your point, quarterbacks look bad here, and as you mentioned as well, that's kind of okay in Cam Ward's case. I couldn't imagine playing the Broncos defense as your
Yep,
first game in the NFL.
exactly.
That's
Yep.
that's so brutal.
Pat
But yeah,
Surtain,
had
man.
a one possession game. I'd say that's a win for Cam Ward. And Pollard actually looked pretty good this game too.
He
Had
did.
some decent runs against a stout defense. So I think Titans are definitely better than I thought they were going to be going in. And Cam Ward himself is only going to get better. So yeah, I think the Titans might be on the right direction here in a division where they can make noise. I mean, the South is kind of wide open in the AFC.
And both of their rookie wide receivers making an impact. I don't know if you remember
Yeah.
our wide receiver ranking episode on
Yes.
rookies, and you regretted leaving them out. But
I know. I was
Moore,
like, what am I doing?
a true starter. So I think second in targets behind only Calvin Ridley, even ahead of Tyler Lockett. And then
Yeah.
Chimere Dike, the 70-yard kickoff return and one target on offense to set them up for that. I will say that was so poor from the Broncos to allow him to return that kickoff into field goal range at the end of that first half. That was
Oh
crazy.
yeah.
If I was Sean Payton, I would have been livid.
Well,
Livid.
that's some
Oh my.
inspiration for the halftime talk.
Yes, no, it absolutely had to be. Had to be. But let's move on to the NFC West matchup between the 49ers and the Seahawks. Low scoring affair here. Christian
Yeah.
McCaffrey is back and he is healthy, which was very big ups for the 49ers. Didn't have an absolutely crazy game, but there was a lot of speculation whether he was going to play or not due to a calf
Yes.
injury. And I think 49ers fans are just most happy coming out with a win and see him on the field for the entire game.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And it just really shows you how important he is to this team, too. They struggled throughout the game getting it going. And every time they just went to that McCaffrey well. And yeah, he managed to snap him out of some funks. A game that was very close, as you mentioned, and low scoring. But yeah, they got it done in the end. And yeah, I don't really know what to take away from it. I mean, we did have a Kittle injury for the Niners, which I think is going to be very important. Um, but yeah, Seahawks, we knew they had a good defense, good secondary in particular, and I think that showed. Um, Biggest thing was, is Kenneth Walker healthy? I mean, Charbonnet, we know he's solid. He did more with less last year as a whole. So there was kind of risk of him stealing his job. But I honestly, I wonder if Walker's like hurt or something, because his potential is honestly, he's a very high ceiling guy, in my opinion, and he's got to get chances. So I wonder if there's some health issues going on there. I know he didn't play in the preseason. But Charbonnet looked really good, filled in for him. It may just be a running back room where they're splitting, but I would honestly hate to see that because I think both backs are starting running back material. And yeah, I would hate to see them eat away at each other's touches. But yeah, both solid teams, good NFC West matchup.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Well, let's move on to a game I'm just not that excited to talk about. Lions Packers. Lions going into Lambeau and lose pretty handily to the Packers. Even worse than the score, honestly. Got the last second Isaac Tesla insane
That
touchdown.
was
Maybe
wild.
one of the best ever first career touchdowns ever. That was a
Y-
crazy grab,
Probably. That was nuts.
continuing what he's been doing in all preseason. So I'm pretty excited about him. Because if he keeps that up, that's quite the wide receiver core with Sun God, JMO, and Tesla. That would be kind of nice. But back to this game. Um, None of the Lions starters played during preseason, even though we switched out both coordinators. and it showed. It absolutely showed. The offense sucked all day, all parts of it. Couldn't really get anything going, pass game or the run game. It was very clear that we changed the three offensive linemen. It wasn't like a particularly bad game, but you could tell that the chemistry and the push wasn't quite what it was last year here in game one. Changing out both guards and the center, so all of the interior linemen, I mean, still have Taylor Decker and Penny Sewell on the outside. They were fine, but the interior offensive line, you could tell Gibbs and Montgomery didn't really have a ton of running room on the inside, which is very core. So that's going to need to improve. And to be clear, I do expect the Lions to be much, much better than this first game, especially on the offensive side of the ball. You don't go from the highest scoring team in the NFL to this every week, I hope.
Yeah,
So yeah, gotta have the hope there. But also another thing I think's important to put in perspective here. Yes, I am a Lions fan talking about the Packers, so it may seem as coming off as like butthurt, but the Packers played really well, I thought, on offense for like the first quarter. And after that, I really thought that the Lions defense kept them in check. Like they came out firing and they scored very, very like 17 very, very quick points. They didn't score much after that at all, and it certainly wasn't for a lack of trying either. The Lions' defense just actually kicked it on and looked good. So
right.
I take that positive, and that honestly, the Packers didn't really get anything going after their hot start either. So that was encouraging from a defensive perspective. But the offense really, really has to figure things out because that was an abysmal performance. The Lions never had a chance in that game ever.
Yeah. Yeah, to your point, maybe it is really just coordinator switch, no preseason. Took a while to get it going on the defensive side of the ball. But yeah, as for the offense, you're right. I mean, it was bad. They certainly looked like they were on different levels, these two teams, and I don't think that should be the case. I mean, Lions, I have them winning the North. Don't know if I still think that, but I also don't think I should read too much into
I
week
still
one.
think that, man, if
Uh,
they come to us on Thanksgiving, because we play them on Thanksgiving, and you even it up, any division series, you split 1-1,
yeah, it's
it's kind
fine.
of hard to get mad
It's
about it,
fine.
so.
Oh, yeah, 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 it's not the end of the world starting 0-1 for sure. It's just the way it was. I mean, it was night and day, the difference between these two teams, but, yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with all the change that Lions are going through. I do think they will be a fine, good team, playoff team when it's all said and done, but, yeah, this week was rough. I did pick the Packers here, but I didn't think it was gonna be like this. I thought it was going to be a humdinger down to the last drive kind of game. But yeah, that was not the case.
Even with the defense looking a lot better, the one thing that does need to improve, and I think we might have made a little bit of a mistake here, too much reliance on Hutch, is we did not get any pass rush at all for the majority of the game. And that's what happens when your main source of pass rush is Aiden Hutchinson. Ali McNeil's not back yet, who actually has pretty good interior pass rush. So it's definitely missing him. And, lost Zadarius Smith in free agency, decided to not pick him up. I believe he actually still remains unsigned as
Nah,
of today.
Eagles actually got
Eagles,
him.
Eagles just got him? Okay, great.
Yeah.
But so I don't love that we don't really have a good secondary edge rusher. I kind of thought that Zadarius was going to come back, and it showed in this game because we were not able to produce a pass rush really, really at all. But let's move on to the Bills. Oh, sorry, skipping a game here. The Rams and the Texans before we move on to the Sunday and Monday night games. Uh, Texans lose this one 9-14. Really just not a great game to watch. Not a great watch. The
Oh,
Rams defense was insane though because the Texans got nothing going at
yeah.
all. I mean, their leading receiver had 2 catches for 32 yards, I think, the rookie Jaden Higgins. So
Yeah.
when your leading receiver's got 32 catches, 32
Yeah.
yards, that's tough.
Yeah. And Nico, I mean, took the league by storm last year. I had him predicted as probably the top fantasy option this year at wide receiver. But yeah, certainly wasn't the case this week. Talking about the Rams, we knew I was high on their defense, but yeah, they exceeded my expectations this week. That was phenomenal. The offense, on the other hand, not so hot, 14 points. I mean, Puka was dying out there. He was getting destroyed every time he touched the ball. So I guess good on the Texans, lay the boom. But yeah, Adams struggled to kind of get involved, and then Kyren was okay. He did get a touchdown, but I mean, he's just a touchdown magnet. So that's not too surprising. But yeah, certainly not a score I would have predicted here. But I did have the Rams winning it. So that's another point for me, and I'm happy about that. But yeah, another one where I did not expect this score at all.
No, that's pretty much the same for me, man. Not a lot to add there. The Rams defense was very, very impressive. But we've also said we're not overly impressed by any teams in the AFC South. So
Yeah,
I'm not
that's true.
surprised that the Texans weren't just game wreckers here. I
Yeah,
thought that this was going to go the Texans' way in a close one. Maybe they score
yeah.
one touchdown here and it's 17-14, but they did not look up to
Well,
snuff.
and it's still just really weird to me. Like you look at the Texans on paper, their roster's pretty good. They needed to address O-line and they kind of did, but I don't think they did nearly enough based on this week. And then you look at D'Amico, a guy in his rookie season as head coach, looked phenomenal as a coach. And yeah, I don't know what to make of them. Like they just don't look good. And I'm not really sure why or how it's happening. Maybe Stroud isn't what we thought he was either. I mean, it could be a little bit of all of these things. But yeah, the South is wide open in my opinion. Like I don't think the Texans are really, taking it by hold, and they
Dude,
should.
if Danny Dimes continues to play like that dude,
Yeah,
then
right.
who
It,
knows? Who
yeah.
knows?
Well, if he plays like that, we do know it's going to be the Colts
That's
because
fair.
you'll be hard pressed to beat a guy who scores on every drive.
So fair point. Fair point. Now let's move on to the night games. Bills Ravens. What a game this was,
Amazing.
man. I mean, crazy first Sunday night game. I cannot believe that Josh Allen pulled together and pulled his team back to victory here. It was absolutely nuts. 41-40 finish.
Yeah.
Crazy. Pure cinema. There's really no other way to describe it than pure cinema.
Yeah, you can never count out the Bills, man, and I did. I will literally admit it, I did, and my brother saved my ass. I missed one scoring drive, and he said, "Dude, you got to throw this back on. Like, it's not over yet." And I was like, "Yeah, you're right." And I'm glad I did because that finish was wild. Um, and to take the spotlight a little bit away from the Bills, how about that freaking Hopkins catch, man? That was
Yeah.
phenomenal. First catch with a new team, that was freaking amazing. But yeah, this game was wild, crazy finish. And yeah, the Ravens, I mean, they keep having these heartbreaking week one games, man.
Yep. Chiefs last year. Tough. Tough.
Yeah.
Isaiah Likely out by a big toe, essentially.
Yeah.
And
And
this
this one
year,
hurts more probably
yeah.
because I mean you had it and you blew it. Whereas it was like almost miracle-ish to get the likely situation and then yeah, just out by an inch. But
Very
yeah, this
well could
one
be
they
our
had this game. So
very well could be our AFC Championship preview right here.
it
If
could,
it
yeah, and
totally could be.
it was
It
a
was a
great
great
playoff
game.
game last year as well. I
Yeah.
mean, it's really fun when these 2 teams clash, and yeah, I too agree. I think we're gonna see it again. Uh, but yeah, until then, we'll see how it all shakes out.
Yep. And then Vikings Bears, the Monday night game, and this was an interesting watch here. For many reasons. Bears came out cooking on their first drive, which is the scripted drive. As I'm sure many of you
Yes.
know, it's the drive you've got planned for the whole week before you get into the flow of the game. And Caleb Williams looked great on that. The Bears looked great on that.
Mhm.
And after that, they were horrible after that. For the rest of the game, they were terrible. Caleb started missing some throws. He ran around a little bit, and he wasn't awful, but he wasn't great either. And now
Yeah.
to jump to the other side of the ball here, talk about the Vikings a little bit. They were horrendous for the first 3 quarters. JJ McCarthy especially was horrendous for the first 3 quarters. And I want to talk about JJ here because I'd love your take. I've got a couple friends who went to Michigan out here. They're like, "Oh, how you feeling about your take about JJ being bad?" I'm like, "Dude, did you watch the first 3 quarters of that game?" Like,
Yeah.
I understand that they came back and scored a lot of points in the fourth, and he did clutch up. I will give the man his flowers. He clutched up, right?
He did.
But ha- he had less than 175 all-purpose yards for the whole game and threw a pick
Yeah.
six. Less than 150 passing yards, less than 30 rushing yards, and a
Yeah.
majority of that coming on a scripted quarterback run play by genius Kevin O'Connell,
Right.
to go ahead there. And I'm just like, let's hold your horses. Like, I mean, that showed that maybe he's not a complete wash, that there's something
Right.
maybe there. But
Yeah.
go and watch the first 3 quarters and tell me that this man is a stud. And
Yeah.
already like the takes of him being bad are like, no,
Yeah, yeah. We're
no,
not done with this conversation yet. I mean, we
yeah,
can't say he's not a buster. He's ass, like based off this performance. You just can't. I mean, you said it, he really didn't do all that much, and he did have the pick six and all that. I think the best takeaway, if you're pro McCarthy from this game, was the fact that he didn't quit when he played like ass for 3/4 of the game and threw a pick six. That is the best positive about McCarthy in that game, was that he was able to clean slate, next play mentality. That's it.
oh,
Other
I
than that,
agree.
he didn't do anything miraculous with his arm or legs, in my opinion. Yes, the run was nice. I think his best throw, arguably, was the 2-point conversion, which was like a 5 yard out, but the Bears blitzed and he got rid of it quick, and it was right on the money, and it was a
Mm-hmm.
laser. That was arguably the best throw. The rest was all, like you said, it's really O'Connell's mastermind. I mean, the throw downfield to Jetta's great route, great design, had him wide open. The reasons the Vikings won this game was their defense and O'Connell calling the plays on offense, and just the Bears freaking crumbling, which
Yep.
honestly doesn't surprise me much. The Bears are historically bad in division play.
Yeah.
It's really a problem, and we kind of talked about this. We both picked the Bears to win, yes, but we did talk about how it's probably going to be a slow start for this team. It's a lot of different shit going on. And as for the O line, they spent a lot of time addressing that in the offseason. It looked bad.
Yes, it
But all
did.
that being said, I do think the Vikings have one of the best D lines in the league and one of the best defenses in the league. So I'm going to take that with a grain of salt. But the O line looked horrible. Williams was still on his ass constantly. But yeah, to your point earlier about Williams, I don't think it was bad. There's certainly some positives to take from it, but certainly negatives too.
Yep.
I honestly see a lot of what I saw last year from him. I don't see that much growth, which is a little alarming, but I think more of that will come as he gets used to this new Ben Johnson system.
Yeah. And the last point I want to make to really drill my main point from that discussion home is if the Bears do score one more touchdown, nothing about the Vikings change, and the Vikings end up losing 31-27. JJ still does the same stuff in the fourth. The narrative would be JJ sucked. But the narrative right now is, oh my goodness, he's the savior. He's the Lord and Savior. And it just really bothers me. I can't stand mainstream media, man. It's all narrative driven. It's not factual based. So the people that listen to our pod, I
We'll give you the
trust
facts.
I trust that you're with the facts here. But that is
Yeah,
the end of our week 1 recap. It was a really, really exciting week 1
it's
to
back.
before we make our week 2 picks here to give you the update. Kris 11-5 in week 1. As I mentioned, my worst week ever. In week 1 this year, went 7-9. Really terrible performance for me, but a lot of games that flip flopped right at the end. So a bit bit
Oh yeah.
unlucky as well, but we'll bounce back. I believe in that. I showed the consistency last year. I believed in that. Last year we did compare to the experts. I plan to start that somewhere around week 4 when we have a little bit of a base on both ends. But look forward to that. I beat many of them, almost all of them last year. Let's see if Kris or I can do the same again this year. But let's make our picks for week 2 to wrap up this episode. The first one, Thursday night game. Commanders traveling to Lambeau, taking on the Packers. I got the Packers here.
Yeah, I too have the Packers. I think the short week definitely helps the home team more than anyone. And yeah, I think the Packers are honestly probably the better team. So yeah, I thought kind of a no-brainer, even though this could certainly go the other way. Commanders no joke themselves, but yeah, going Pack.
Fair. I mean, I had to think about it for a little bit, but
I
then I
did, but
decided that might be like
like I think they're
possibly
better. So
bias. Yeah, but I do think that like I have the Packers making the playoffs and I don't have the Commanders, so I also agree with that. But I wouldn't be surprised if this is a game that the Commanders do win.
yeah,
Now, Jags traveling to Cincinnati, taking on the Bengals, and boy, was I tempted to go Jaguars in this game. So tempted, but I ended up taking my own little sip of the Bengal juice, and I went Bengals here.
isn't it sour? You should have tried it when I was drinking it because it doesn't taste the same. Yeah, I went Bengals here, and I'm honestly so glad you did because it's still early in the NFL season, and the Bengals do not perform. And the Jags look pretty decent. I was impressed with their defense last week. So yeah, I don't know. I could certainly see it going another way. So I'm
If this
glad
was
we
in
are the same.
Jacksonville, if this was
Oh,
in
I
Jacksonville,
would
I'm
have
going the
too,
other
though.
way. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have too. I just can't say every damn time that I'm picking them because they're home. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's all I'm doing, folks. I will never pick an away team to win.
No wonder your record sucked last year.
Hey, I was like 2 games off, and it was all because of the week 1 crumble. So we'll see if I can Uno reverse your ass. And in both of our defense, it is impossible week 1, man. You don't
Yeah,
know
it's
any of
tough.
these teams and how they're going to be. It gets a lot easier as the season goes.
No, that's true. Giants Cowboys, I got the Cowboys here, mostly because I don't know that I expect the Giants to make a change at quarterback, and the Cowboys looked reasonably decent.
Yeah. Yeah. I also have the Cowboys here. I agree. I honestly think we're going to see Russ, and enough said.
Yeah, we talked about it enough earlier. Now,
Yeah.
NFC North matchup: the Bears traveling to Detroit to take on my Lions. Ben Johnson's return to Detroit. And I have to go Lions here. I have to have faith that they will figure it out in their first home game and start to put the pieces together for this 25-26 season.
Yeah. This one was tempting to go Bears, but I got to go Lions. I just think I mean, both teams are certainly going to want it 0-1 in the division. Uh, don't want to drop 0-2 both to division rivals, and that's what's happening to the loser of this game. But yeah, I think the Lions just are going to bounce back. They're better. Bears almost have the excuse, like I said, new system, new everything else. Which the Lions have a lot of newness going on as well, and that's part of why it was tempting. But in the end, I thought of kind of what I said with the Bears: historically bad record against division opponents, and it's a large sample size. Like we're talking since like 2018, it's like terrible. They don't win
Yeah.
in NFC North matchups, so I'm going Lions.
All right. Rams Titans. I got the Rams here. I think the Titans still got some growing to do, regardless that they looked okay in week 1. I think this Rams defense is another really tough matchup for Cam Ward here.
Yeah. Yeah, I also went Rams for that reason too. It's just a really tough defensive matchup for Cam Ward. But that being said, like I said, Titans looked better than I thought, and the Rams offense couldn't really get it going last week. So I could see the Titans pulling this off, but I am going to go with the Rams.
All right. All right. Pats Dolphins. I went Patriots here for sure.
Yeah,
The Dolphins,
yeah,
I don't know that I can pick them again. Seriously.
yeah. Yeah, it's honestly one of like we can't really pick them till they win, and how they win is going to be very important as well. But yeah, I'm going Pats as well. That they look decent. Dolphins, oh my God, they look terrible.
They were. I think the Dolphins looked like the worst team in the NFL last week. I
They
think.
did. Yeah, I'd agree with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. 49ers, Saints. I got 49ers in this one. Cardinals struggled against the Saints. I do not think that the 49ers are going to face the same, even without George Kittle. I think this for actually, I will say Brock Purdy's status is a little bit up in the air, so that's interesting. I still think that they'll be fine and the 49ers win.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna go. I have the Niners to win, yes, but I actually think it will be a struggle, and I do think it will be close. Not to say the Saints aren't what we think. I just think the losing Kittle is going to be huge. Um, Still no Ayuk, Debo's gone. Like it's still a lot of newness. Got to get better rapport with Pearsall and this new unit. And they'll be forced to in this one since they will no longer have Kittle and. Yeah, I mean, Saints are certainly gonna once Kittle's out, you just focus on McCaffrey, and yeah, we'll see what they can do. But yeah, in the end, I still went Niners. Remember, people, the Saints want to lose.
And Bills Jets up next. I mean, great showing from the Jets in week one, but also a great showing from the Bills in week one. Really showing some grit with the comeback there. So I gotta go with the Bills. Just the more talented team right now.
Yeah, yeah, I went Bills too, but I mean, this division matchups, man, they get squirrely. They will play again, and this is the home game for the Jets. But yeah, I'm going Bills. It's just so much talent on that team. It's tough any given week to go against the Bills.
Yep. Then we got Seahawks traveling to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. This was kind of a tough one for me,
Yeah.
but I have a feeling that the Steelers' defense is going to bounce back because the Seahawks weren't particularly successful against the 49ers defense. I'd say the Steelers is definitely a little bit better than that. I think they'll bounce back from a tough showing in New York last week. First game at home. Got to go Steelers here.
Yeah, I mean I said it last week. Steelers a team I think is going to be a game above 500 or around 500 like they tend to be. These are the type of games they need to win. I said that last week against the Jets. Not the kind of game I thought was coming at all, but I think what I said applies here very well as well. So I'm going Steelers. It's the kind of game that they just got to win to get that 500 or slightly better.
Shaping up to be a boring week so far.
I know. It
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah. Browns, Ravens. I got the Ravens here. They're going to be pissed with that loss against the Bills. And I just don't think that this one's going to be that close.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, it could be Ravens versus anyone this week, and it's
Yeah.
Ravens. Like they're gonna bounce back after that loss. And yeah, being at home certainly helps. So Ravens all the way.
Yeah. This next one was the most difficult game for me this week, for sure. Broncos, Colts. This was really
Oh,
difficult. The
okay.
Broncos did not look great last week, but they did win. Colts did look great last week and won. Um, but the Colts in years past have not looked great for the past 2 years, and the Broncos overall as a team did look quite good last year. Colts are home. Ultimately, though, I went Broncos squeaking by with a win here in week two.
Yeah, I think it should be a good game. I didn't really hesitate much, so I think Danny Dimes going up against that Dolphins team is entirely different than this Broncos team. And I think the Broncos are going to play a little pissed off too because they can't be happy with their offensive performance at all. So I'm going Broncos here. I do think it'll probably be close, but yeah, I feel pretty confident in that one.
Eh. Panthers Cardinals. This was probably the second toughest one for me personally. Because I think that the
Yeah.
Panthers have a chance to bounce back and refine the form that they did at the end of last year, and the Cardinals just continue to underwhelm. But I think the Cards at home will squeak by here.
Yeah, I went Cardinals as well. You said it, both teams kind of underperformed last week. Not exactly ready to quit on my Cardinals being decent take. So I'm gonna roll with them here. And yeah, they better freaking win because I'm salty about that Panthers game last week. I know I did pretty decent last week, but I'm still salty about it because
That's
that
fair.
wasn't even freaking close. So yeah, I hope I hope the Cards give them quite a pounding this week. I know they like to keep
Yeah.
pounding, so
Yeah. Nice. Well done. Well done.
yeah,
Falcons, Vikings. I got the Falcons here. I just wasn't impressed by the overall game from the Vikings. Yes, they had a good fourth quarter. I get it. But the Bears are the Bears. I think the Falcons are a better team right now than the Bears. And Bijan is just a different type of weapon that I don't know that the Vikings are fully ready for. If Penix plays decent, I think it'll be close because it is in Minnesota. But I got to roll with the Falcons here in a closey.
yeah. This was the toughest matchup in my opinion. I went back and forth a lot here. I did end up siding with the Falcons also.
Damn it!
Um, I know this is annoying. But yeah, gotta go with what's on the paper here. But otherwise, for the sake of chaos, I would want to switch. But
Yeah,
yeah, I'm going Falcons here, and I agree. I think it's going to be close, but yeah, I think they squeak by. It's the Vikings are just they got a lot to do offensively. We saw in that game too, which we didn't mention, with McCarthy. They don't trust him yet. I mean, if it's third and long at all, they are just running the ball and will punt. Like trust the defense kind of thing, or we're going to throw a screen pass. Like they're not willing to give him the keys to the entire offense yet. And I think much of that is going to be the same in week 2. And I like your point about the Falcons. I think they're a better team than the Bears to this point. And yeah, Bears, I mean, should have freaking won that game and didn't. So
yes,
yeah, I'm going Falcons.
yeah. I'm also realizing I skipped over a game. Eagles Chiefs.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. I uh I wanted so badly to go Chiefs here, revenge game. But I just think without Raji Rice, without Xavier Worthy, who was their one bright spot in the Super Bowl last year, I don't and to your point about AJ Brown earlier, I agree. I think he will get force fed the ball a little bit this week. I think he's going to have
Mhm.
a really good week. The NFL not suspending Jalen Carter any more games is definitely very beneficial for you all, which I'm not a fan of, by the way, with how disgraceful of an act spitting on another man is. I am not a fan of a effectively 1 game
I will
suspension.
I will
Yeah,
say to that point, it has happened before. He's not
I
the
know.
first person
I
to spit
know.
on a guy, and it
Yes.
was never more than a one game dealio. I
Hey,
don't think it ever was a one game suspension, and that effectively did happen. Carter did not play a snap, so
all I'm saying is just because there's precedent in the past doesn't mean you can't have the
yeah.
balls to change it
Honestly,
sometimes. Yeah.
no, and you're not wrong. It's a terrible thing he did. It's disgusting. I hate it. So I wouldn't be that against it if they did. I just did want our audience to know
Yeah.
this has
There
happened
is
and that punishment
precedent.
has never been given.
Yeah. There is precedent for they just miss that game at whatever point they get ejected.
Yeah.
But yes, I think that he should be suspended for 2 or 3 would be what I would say personally. But anyways, with all those factors, I want Eagles here.
So for me, Eagles Chiefs, I am going Eagles here. I had a contingent on Jalen Carter playing or not. Going into the year, just looking at the schedule as a whole, I certainly thought it was going to be a loss. Not one that I would love discussing, but I certainly thought it would be. Yeah, a revenge game, Super Bowl. We are going to Arrowhead, but with Worthy hurt and Carter back into the lineup for the Eagles, I feel pretty confident Eagles can get this done with the Chiefs missing Worthy and Rice. I mean, that's two very important pieces to that puzzle. So going Birds.
Fair, fair. We got 2 games left here. Bucks Texans, the first one. I thought this was pretty easy based on the week 1 performance of the Texans and what I expect of the Bucks this year. I got Buccaneers winning this one.
Yeah, this one was tough for me. I ended up going Bucks as well, which sucks. I feel like we're not gonna have any differences. But yeah, I went Bucks as well. They're just the better team. You said it. If the Texans played differently last week, I certainly could have gone a different way, but I agree. I don't know how I can put my hat on them after that week 1 performance.
Yeah. Leaving us with the Chargers Raiders, and unless you went back to your Raiders well here, we are going to have no differences as I
Yeah.
went with the Chargers just because they look like an excellent team in week 1. I expect them to be an excellent team all year. And even if the Raiders improve, I think the Chargers are the better team for the entire year. So I went Chargers here.
Yeah, without a doubt, I went Chargers. I mean, they looked like probably a top 3 team in the entire league last week. And yeah, I'm not gonna go against that until I see different. That being said, rivalry game, Raiders are at home. I wouldn't be that surprised if it is the other outcome, but I'm certainly not going to predict it here.
That's fair. All right, friends, that is the end of another Palm City Chucks episode. That wraps up the Week 1 NFL recap and the Week 2 picks. Thank you all for listening in and joining. I mean, we split up college and NFL, and we're still wrapping this up at an hour and 20 minutes all. It's
Absurd.
pretty ridiculous, but we love it. We hope you love it too. We appreciate you all that listen in. Please like, subscribe, comment. Let us know what you think. Let us know your game picks. We'd love to see it. But we'll be back with you next week, everybody.
Later, PCC.